Sup, YouTube? How you doing? Changing around a little for y'all. Hope y'all doing good. We're about to finish?
Finish, for sure.
MGS. So there's less than I thought that there's left.
There's very little actual gameplay.
Wow.
I don't know how long the cutscenes will be.
I guess, excuse me, finish if the cutscenes aren't an hour long.
Well, once we get to a certain point, we can't really just like...
Oh yeah, because the cutscenes just keep going. That is true.
So that's why I told Spencer, like, potentially just Twin Snakes tonight? I don't know.
Well, I'm not ready for anything else, so we're okay. I've been grinding Saga Frontier Asolus, but I'm not quite at the point I want to be. That's okay. That game, unfortunately, takes a little bit of time. What was that just now? What? Oh my god.
How the... I shot him in the head.
Yeah. Get every dog tag from every person.
I would have to sneak up on them and hold them up. Getting every dog tag is hardcore.
It's really hardcore. And I don't know if it's the same in this, but in MGS2, sometimes, especially in the harder difficulties, they just wouldn't give up the dog tag. Yep. So you'd have to shoot him in the leg, and I swear to goodness, sometimes you'd shoot him in the leg, the arm, and they still wouldn't give it up.
I kind of remember looking up this a little bit. I don't know if it was like in a video or I just read it, but I think it's literally RNG. So a lot of times you have to like hold someone up, and then there's like a low like RNG roll. And if you like, obviously if you shoot their arm, and then their other arm, and then their leg, you have to like just retreat and then reload the area. It's super awesome.
Yeah. That's brutal.
Snake, it's me.
Who?
What's wrong? Did you find a good place to hide?
Yeah, thanks to the stealth gear.
I'm literally inside the Metal Gear.
Ready.
How do you know that?
I overheard them talking. Where are you now?
You know, it'd be
Right
cool
in front of Metal
if
Gear.
Otacon
But it's strange.
What is?
had
There's nobody here.
another stealth
No
suit
guards,
that he could
no
just give
mechanics.
Snake.
It's too
He
quiet.
did literally
because
say
they're
that
already-
there was 5
They said they
prototypes,
even
and he went
input
back
the
to
PAL codes.
his lab
What
to
should I
grab
do?
one for Snake,
All we
but
can
then
do
they were
is
missing,
use the override
which is why we
system
had
that
that stealth
President
fight
Baker
in the
told you about.
But
elevator.
I've only got one of the 3
It's kind of like
keys.
Wonder
And
Woman's
besides
invisible
that,
jet.
like
How do you
Ocelot
find
said,
a stealth
there's
suit?
no point in using the keys.
Leave it
I
to
guess
me.
it appears
You got
until
some
you
kind of
use it.
plan?
Well,
Let's just go with that.
I'm in the computer room right now. I'm trying to access Baker's private
That's one of the
files.
things that just like...
Baker's files.
Although it's
Complete
different, because
password.
Wonder Woman's invisible
course.
jet is the
But
weirdest thing
there
ever,
are
because you
ways.
still see Wonder Woman.
Are you a
Like...
hacker?
That is really weird.
Yep.
Is there any lore behind that?
Describes it
Like,
pretty well.
I
there's
do
no
not
way.
know.
There's no way it came from the Amazons.
I
They don't
don't know
have
yet. I'll give it a try.
That is
invisible
true.
jet
Yeah,
technology.
the Amazons are like very strong, obviously, but they're not like super technologically advanced or whatever. So yeah, that's really weird. Because everything else, like Harry Potter's invisible cloak and the stealth gear and all that, they literally all
Snake,
make
it's
you
me again.
invisible. But what if you just had a thing?
Not
Like,
bad.
what if you had an
I
invisible
just got
car?
past this third
Like, you couldn't
security
hide
level.
anywhere. You would
You're
just
a
drive
pretty
down the road
careful
and you'd be
guy.
floating there, and
Do you
people would be
think
like,
you'll break in soon?
what the heck's
I've
that?
never met a system I couldn't bust into.
Okay.
And I feel like,
Try.
if anything, an invisible jet would actually be worse because,
Ding ding!
oh my god, the
Snake.
the government would
You got past
like
security?
Bingo.
see your
Great.
blip on the
So what do you
radar
got?
and not
I
see
accessed
a
the
thing and be like,
confidential
whoop,
Metal Gear file.
must be something
So
terrorist,
what
shoot it
about the
down.
PAL override system that Baker talked about?
So yeah, that'd be pretty
That's what I
bad.
need to know.
But Snake, I found something else.
What?
The secret behind the new nuclear weapon. Just as I thought, the nuclear warhead is designed to be fired from the railgun like a projectile. It doesn't use fuel, so it isn't considered a missile. That way it
This
can get around all sorts of international
is-
treaties.
Pretty sneaky.
this is
Yes,
pretty sneaky
but effective.
level stuff.
And that's not even the scariest thing about this weapon.
So they just cram a warhead in the railgun and just
It's
shoot
a
it with
stealth
magnets.
weapon.
You mean
And
it won't
it,
show up on radar?
I guess the
Yeah.
nuke, if it just like
The truth
hits
is,
something hard
they've been
enough
working on a
without
stealth
like being
missile
ignited,
since
it
the
just
late
explodes
70s.
anyway.
Yeah.
Why weren't they able to develop
Speaking of
one
nukes, I
until
just saw
now?
Godzilla Minus
Because
One
of the
today.
missile's rocket
Highly
propulsion
recommended
system.
for anyone out there
It will be
watching.
picked up
By the time
enemy
this video goes
satellites.
up, it might
Because of
not
that.
still be in theaters, but if it
Unlike a
is,
missile,
you really
the
should see it.
railgun doesn't burn
It
any
was
propellant,
just
so
great.
It can't be detected by any
It was like a
current ballistic
family-based
missile
kind of
detection
thing,
systems.
and
An
they
invisible
did
nuclear warhead.
one of the hardest things to do in a Godzilla
Impossible
movie, which is make you
intercept.
care about the human
And on
characters.
top of that,
All the
it's got
human
a
characters, you're like,
surface-piercing
this,
warhead
they're awesome.
designed to
Like, Godzilla
penetrate
was great,
hardened
obviously.
underground bases.
But I remember in Godzilla 2014 for the American version, you were like, okay, that's great. Where's Godzilla? Like for everything.
I
Like,
love
where's
Malcolm in
Godzilla?
the Middle. Dad, oh he died. Now I don't care.
Yeah.
Where's Godzilla?
For any of the, though, it's so weird because the American ones try so hard to make the main characters, and then Godzilla outshines them. And in the Japanese ones, they make the human characters like almost ancillary, and yet people care about them more. Like it's crazy. Yeah, this one was cool. Godzilla shows up out of nowhere in like the first like 2 minutes, and you're like, oh, holy crap. There's a lot. I mean, in almost all the ones that I've watched, the American ones, they like show Godzilla for like a frame, like early on, and then they like build up to it for like 45 minutes, and you're like, okay, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Where is he?
You mean with VR experiments?
Yeah, that's why they were conducting
So yeah, very good,
this
very good. Highly
exercise.
recommended. I
They
saw it with
needed to
Ferris.
get
It was
actual
enjoyable.
experimental data to back up the simulation.
Did Ferris
What
cry?
were the results of the exercise?
No, it was actually only rated PG-13.
But I can't find the data anywhere on this.
There was
network.
lots of people that
You'd
died,
think
of
the
course,
data
but it
as
wasn't
important as
like
that would be carefully recorded.
like an American horror movie would be, you know, where it's like, oh my god, his guts are everywhere. It was just more like they were stomped
No.
or thrown or
Ocelot
whatever.
took it from me. Damn.
There's a scene where he does like I think he has a heat ray normally, where he does a heat ray blast, and it's literally like a nuclear blast. It is so
Be
cool.
ready to launch.
So you think
Like
they
he
can do
shoots it, and then all the air
The
and
dummy
sound
warhead
gets
was
sucked
designed
out
to
of
be
the scene,
identical
and
to
all of a
the
sudden
real
it's.
thing, so
That's awesome.
I
You're
think
like,
so.
yes.
Did you find out how to override it yet?
Not yet. It must be in a separate file. Right now, I'm looking through all of Baker's personal
Remember
files.
Baker?
We're counting on you.
Whoa! I didn't realize he was right there.
Huh? Man, having the PSG, that's what this is called, PSG-1?
The M9.
The
This is
M9.
tranquilizer.
I'm sorry. Having
It
the
sure
M9
trivializes this game.
makes
yeah.
this game so much easier.
This game was just not meant for like you can. There's first person looking
Snake.
in
Did you find
MGS
it?
One,
No,
which
I
they
haven't
clearly
found out about
want
the
you to
override
use,
system
but there's no
yet.
first person
But I
aiming
found
other than
Baker's
like the Stinger and the
ulterior
Nikita
motive.
He's just looking to get
and
rich.
the
isn't
sniper
he?
rifle, I guess. But you
So,
get that sold.
in this room, in the
Arms
original
tech is
game, they would
much
want you to
worse
sneak
financial
up and
trouble
knock
than
them
I
out,
thought.
clearly.
I know
Can
they
you
lost
chokehold
their
them in
bid
the
to make the
first
next generation
one?
Yeah.
fighter jet.
Although
Okay.
they just
Plus
die
the
if you
reduction in SDI spending.
like
It
choke
looks like
them.
there's
Okay,
even
so
some
either knock
kind
them out
of
or chokehold them.
hostile
That's
takeover.
obviously what they're going for.
Everything
It's pretty much no. I don't think there's any.
I guess.
And it looks
I
like
swear,
they're
like when you
paying a lot
punch
of
people in
bribe money
MGS
to the
One, I think they
Darvish.
just die too.
Bribe money, huh?
I don't think
Yeah.
there's like a
So
knockout.
they don't get
state.
knocked out, there's
Baker
no
was a
knockout
big
state.
proponent of
Okay.
nuclear deterrence
This game
theory.
really doesn't care about like
So
being
anyway,
totally non-lethal.
what
It's
about
literally
the
impossible in
override?
this game.
Just give me a little bit longer.
I mean, there are 2 spots we did last time where you like legitimately have to kill like 25, 30 soldiers, whatever. So that part of the gameplay definitely got better for 2 and 3.
Oh, are you ready for this?
Ruh-roh.
This is the moment that yes.
Did you know this was coming?
Yeah.
I've entered the PAL codes and disengaged.
I think I talked about that moment in like literally the first like
can launch
part of the
anytime.
first sit down. I was like, when is this gonna
There's
happen?
still
And
no
it happens
response
like
from Washington.
30 minutes
It looks
before
like
the game
we'll have to
ends.
show them that we mean business.
I think Liquid's voice is my favorite voice of all time.
It's really good.
Brother!
In Russia.
No. There's been a change.
And I want to say that the
The new
MGS
target
One
is
original
not
dub,
North
he sounds even
China.
cooler. Most of the characters sound better in the
Why,
original dub.
boss?
It's a shame that stuff happens to Liquid
Liquid.
because he's so
I'm
cool.
sure neither
Although
you
he's
nor
kind
Mr.
of in the rest of the
Gurevich would really
series.
like to see a nuclear bomb dropped on your
Kinda.
motherland, right?
You really have to.
Why?
He's not really in the rest of the series
Wrong.
because in
It's a
MGS4
nuclear
it's
test
shown that Ocelot was just pretending to be
nuclear
Liquid to
test
fool the
site.
Patriots or something.
If we
Reminds me of that
nuclearize
meme.
your
I was just
population
pretending to be
center,
you
the
know what.
game's over.
Joke's on you!
A nuclear
And it's like
explosion
I can
that
understand
tests
trying to like
can still
backtrack
be
from how
concealed
weird
from the
MGS2 is
public.
with Liquid's arm.
Meanwhile,
I mean,
Washington
grafting
will be
Liquid's
worried about
arm
the
onto
retaliatory
Ocelot's
strike from China.
own arm is like
Probably
ridiculous.
mean top secret
That's like
talks between both
Resident Evil
countries'
8
leaders.
tier science.
Of course.
True.
And in the process,
But-
Although Resident Evil 8
President
doesn't
will be
try to be
forced to
realistic
divulge
in
the
any way,
existence
whereas
of a new
MGS
and highly
kinda
destabilizing
does.
nuclear
Kinda
weapon
does.
to the Chinese.
But the backtrack it to be like I was only pretending, which like I get it, sort of. But to be like I did it to fool the Patriots, it's like how does that work?
In India.
How does that work?
I see.
You know, one of my favorite characters in the entire series is actually Ocelot in 3,
When the other
MGS3.
countries
He's
hear
really
about the
good.
new
He's really good.
He's good in every single
Yes.
game except for 5. 5, he is so boring. He's just there. It's so weird. I almost want to do an LP of that game, but it'd be way too long. I'm never doing it.
Yes.
Yeah, even if you only did the major things, it would be super long.
And there's no payoff because the game's literally incomplete. There's a bunch of plot points that just get dropped.
Even with, so I know that they came out with like a complete version. Even with that, it's like not a thing.
No, they didn't like finish the end of Phantom Pain. I honestly think that Ground Zeroes is pretty good, but Phantom Pain, with the main antagonist, I think his name is Skullface or something.
So it's true.
But like he's so cool in Ground Zeroes, and then once you figure out his motivations and like him continuing to talk in Phantom Pain, you're just like, he's so lame.
Wolf wasn't infected
Did
either. Perhaps
Kojima
due to
ever
those
come out and
treatments
say,
she always took.
what his
Something
plan
to
was
do with
for the ending?
and
Or
adrenaline
since he was
levels in the
unceremoniously
blood.
kicked off, he was like,
If you bought the collector's edition of MGS5, they did include a video of like the concept of there's a supposed third act called Act 3 Peace, I think. And there's only Act 1 and Act 2 in the finished MGS5, but in Act 3, spoilers, there's a plot point where young Liquid and young Psycho Mantis kidnap, or, basically kidnap that game's Metal Gear, which is called Sahelanthropus or something. And it's like an all-out war with that big Metal Gear and Little Liquid and Little Psycho Mantis and Venom Snake, and it seems kind of cheesy, but it would at least be an ending. The ending in MGS5 as it is right before the events of Metal Gear 1, where there's some sort of like vague time skip, and you can hear that the place they're in. I don't know if it's Outer Heaven or if it's something called something else, but you can hear all the war going on, and it's obviously that Solid Snake is like invading, and he's about to kill Venom Snake because it's like the prequel to Metal Gear 1.
that would be pretty cool. Pretty cool.
He's got over 1,000 soldiers under his command.
That's in the game. I think the ending's okay. It's just it's hard to explain, but there's a lot of padding to get to the actual ending. The game just kind of like stops, and you have to do a bunch of hard mode missions, which is just like earlier content done again, but with stipulations on top of it, like either like no weapons or just like harder enemies. And you have to do like 6 or 7 of those, and that's like it takes like 5-10 hours of just like repeating content, and then after that you get like a cassette of the ending. It is so weird.
We have the new nuclear power.
Do you remember, I know that nowadays the trend is just to release the game in like almost an alpha build. But do you remember 5-10 years ago when they would have stuff like Ground Zeroes where they're like, hey, the real game's taking forever, so have this, and they released Ground Zeroes brand new at like $30. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then when the game came out, people were like, it's 3 hours long, and it's like, yeah, it's $30. The best one of all time. It's a PS3 game. Do you know what I'm about to say? We like never see it at the store anymore because it's like uncommon but cheap.
Gran Turismo 5.
Gran Turismo 5 Prologue. When they're like, sorry, Gran Turismo 5's taking literally 10 years. Here's like 20% of the game on a disc. And I think it was brand new for $20.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It is
But
bizarre.
it was probably just like they were putting so much money into it at the time.
They just needed to get a little bit back.
Yeah, they just needed to do something.
Outer heaven.
Oh, you said the thing.
Big boss's dream.
They did some things like that, like Trevor knows this. Forza 4 for the 360. Later on, they came out with something called the Essentials Edition, which is a 1-disc and instead of a 2-disc version, and it has like 70% of the cars and stuff.
I think they only did the Essentials Edition for a 360 pack-in for like a holiday.
Yes, that is correct.
And I think they literally just did it because making a pack-in for Forza was way too expensive because every single disc they have to like pay a percentage for licensing fees. So that's why they like gimped the entire game. Just
to
because,
put it down to 1.
Just to put car manufacturers like not paying as much.
Want me to kill her?
Let her live. She's
Yeah,
Campbell's niece, and
kind of weird. Obviously, nowadays, they'll just release a game and then be like, we'll add a bunch. I was watching a video today where someone was like, they were talking about their top 10 most disappointing games of 2023, and they were like, Yeah, Starfield's definitely one of them, but they're like,
Snake,
maybe in like 2
I
years
found
it'll get the No
Baker's
Man's
top
Sky
secret
treatment where they
files.
add a bunch of
Great
stuff,
job.
and it's like,
How's it going there?
okay, I mean, I realize that's a thing you can do nowadays, but it's still a disappointing game, regardless of what they do to it.
Also, Bethesda never. You were talking about Starfield.
Yeah, yeah.
Bethesda never fixes their games.
That is
or
also
does
true.
anything.
That is also true.
Skyrim has been re-released a billion times, and it's arguably that the latest re-release, the Anniversary Edition, is more broken than the original vanilla version.
No Man's Sky isn't the greatest example because that's one of the few times where a game came out and was awful, and they spent years bringing out free DLC and free updates and whatever to make it exactly what they wanted.
Yeah.
So that's an albatross. I can't think of another example of a game that came out like that.
I mean, there's games that have been sported forever, like obviously Minecraft and Stardew Valley and Terraria. Like, there's sort of service games that come out and then they update forever.
Right.
But it's not exactly the same because, like, all those three examples, like, were good games, and then they were such massive successes that they're just like, let's build on this and just make our career off of this game.
Right.
Can you see the input terminals in the
And
center of the control room?
No Man's Sky, when they changed it, literally changed the entire game. Whereas, like, Minecraft is still Minecraft, even 10 years later. There's just, like, more to
Terminals
do.
are for the emergency input.
Can you get in there?
There should be a symbol on each screen. Each symbol corresponds to
So
a
this
different
thing with the
key.
PAL
You
key
input the keys in order
is
from left
some of
to
the
right.
worst
The left
padding
one's
for the
room
final
temperature
act
key.
I've ever seen in
See the
any
symbol?
game, and I remember this. It's been unchanged from MGS1.
The one on the
But the
right
way that
is
they
the
want you to
high
do this
temperature
is that you have to freeze the key,
Okay, I got
and then
it.
you have to heat
First
the
I
key,
change the shape
which
of the
involves
colors,
backtracking
then I input
and just
them in
waiting
order.
around for the key to change
That's
shape.
right. All
And
you
then
do
also
is
you lose
insert
the key
card
and you have to
key.
go back down
After
to
you
get it
insert the key
from
into the module, a
the
hard
sewers.
disk reads the
And then you have to come back, insert the key when it's in room temperature, then backtrack, heat it up, insert the key, come all the way back, insert the key again, freeze the key, go all the way back, insert it again. It is, I don't know what they were thinking. I guess they were just like, let's squeeze another 30 minutes out of this game.
I remember that.
But it is so bad. They already had the point where you backtracked a bunch of like areas to get the sniper rifle, but them doing it again, it's like, come on. Base.
Come on.
Obviously, this is super over the top, but this is like the same thing that happened in the original game.
Fell in the drainage ditch.
Snake. This is bulletproof
Oh, so you
glass.
actually saw him.
There's no way in. I'll enjoy watching you die.
While we do absolutely nothing.
You've got to get that key.
Yeah, why don't
They don't pursue us at all.
they don't send a bunch of soldiers?
Which is pretty. I mean, when you see what's about to happen, it's like, Snake should have been very familiar with why they're doing that. Yeah.
Is that how you're supposed to do it?
You can do it like that. You will die if you're not mashing.
Right.
All right, so there's a rat that picked up the thing. Where's the thermal?
Oh my god.
Are you kidding me? I didn't do
What, does it just come back up?
it. Yeah.
Lord in heaven. That thermal.
I shot that rat point blank every single time.
Just use the PSG one. Go over the top, take some of that Lorenzo Tam or whatever.
Dude, no way.
Hey, buddy.
Come out. The most god tier rat of all time. Okay. I shot it perfectly 10,000 times.
Can you, it's stupid, but can you, M9 it?
I don't know. The M9 has really crappy,
Like recoil.
like reloading the Trank things take a million years. You know what? I'm just gonna... I'm sorry, guys.
Oh my
I
god.
have to backtrack through this room a million billion times.
It's literally all ogre.
At least it was absolutely painless and they had no idea what was
That is true. But, yeah. Also, this has probably been answered canonically at some point. But, wait, are they even in here? They just leave then.
I wonder why they didn't pursue us and now the thing is just empty. I wonder what's happening.
Oh, because they want you to do it?
Hmm.
Makes sense. So this is probably answered canonically at some point, but when Snake is talking on codec, he's not actually talking. It, like, reads his thoughts.
It is super inconvenient, or not inconvenient, inconsistent. Sometimes when they're doing cutscenes, it happened literally in this game when he's on codec, Snake actually talks. But then in other times, they seem to just be reading his thoughts, and it's completely silent. There's no consistency at all.
Okay. I forget if there was ever a scene I watched where he did that, but like he was right outside the door and he was like,
It specifically happens in this game outside of the codec screen when he just rode the supply crate or the supply elevator and he just came out. He saw Liquid with the Hind and he talks on codec in the middle of the cutscene. He's actually talking in that.
Interesting.
So even in this game, it's not.
It
consistent.
doesn't. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's probably just me being ridiculous, but I was more curious if he was right outside the door, and even if he's whispering, I'd be like, what is that? You know what I mean? Like, this is not a loud, busy room. It's, like, lifeless at this point.
So there's a secret thing in this room, so you don't have to backtrack as far, but they make it very secret. That we can change the temperature of the Palki without, like, actually leaving. That is over here. There's these two pipes, one for nitrogen and not the singer, and one for heat. So that immediately turns our Palki to the right temperature.
Wow.
But,
what would you have done in its place? Just go outside?
I have to go back to the room that we killed Vulcan Raven.
Oh, okay. Well, that's only like two or three rooms.
But the thing about it is that there's new guards in that room, like 3 or 4 guards, and we have to stand around for about 5 minutes.
Got it. Yeah, that's not very fun.
And then we would go all the way back again, insert the key, and then we would backtrack even further to the boiler room, and then we would probably have to wait around for like close to 10 minutes because the PAL key doesn't change temperature like super like immediately, so it might still be frozen by the time we're still in the boiler room. So like when I was doing this without like looking up much, and when I saw that I was like, there has to be a better way. There's no way the speedrun does this. So I literally just looked up the speedrun and they did this. I was like, how are you supposed to know that secret thing that you can only get to by like falling off a ledge?
Yeah, that's tough. Because even if it was on the wall, I don't know if I would notice it. Is it the same in the original?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'd imagine it's the same because this game like added absolutely nothing new
There goes
except for
pal
the
number
M9.
2.
Yeah.
Next comes pal number 3.
Where is even the boiler room? I'm trying to remember.
It's even further back. We would have to ride the 2 like big elevators again.
Is it before or after Psycho Mantis?
It's definitely after Psycho
Oh, okay.
Mantis.
Still pretty far.
Like it would be like about 15 minutes backtracking altogether, with the
Waiting around
for the room or for the key to get cold and then hot.
Well, that's scintillating for Let's Plays.
Yeah, that was like I was playing this and like it's been a long time since I played this game. I really don't like MGS1 that much. I like the story, but the gameplay is like bad. But when I saw that, I was like, are you kidding me? This is garbage. I do. Oh my god, why you're hanging?
It's about Naomi Hunter.
I do
Then you
like
should talk to the
that
colonel. He's looking
that they
into this.
have an option like that.
Yeah.
But man, that's hidden.
I guess it's just for people that are
Okay, it's
super
off.
familiar with the game
No
that
one
don't
else
want to
can
do the
hear us. Go
backtracking.
ahead.
But then why even add it in the first
I
place?
didn't want the colonel to hear.
Okay, so what's up?
I've got a good friend in the Pentagon.
Yeah.
He's the one who.
I just
told
want to
me.
imagine that Snake's
It
like
looks like the
legitimately
DIA
always
recently
walking
developed a
around in
new
this
type
stealth
of
mission
assassination.
talking, like just
Assassination
talking to himself.
Snake, have you ever heard of something called fox dye?
Oh.
No. Fox dye. Liquid and the others were talking about it.
Yeah. It's some kind of virus that targets specific people. I don't know all the details, but
What are you trying to say?
it's too similar.
What is?
The cause of death. Didn't the Arms Tech president and the DARPA chief, Decoy Octopus, die of something that looked like a heart attack?
Yeah.
Well, apparently Fox dye kills its victims
Dun,
by
dun,
simulating a heart
dun.
attack.
No. You're telling me that Naomi was behind it?
Snake, try to remember. Did Naomi give you some kind of injection?
The nanomachines.
She was in the best position to have done it, but I don't know what her motive was.
Does the colonel know?
I'm not sure, but he still hasn't questioned her.
Okay. I'll ask him myself. Colonel, what's new with the Naomi
Codec's always so
situation?
interesting to me because like
Naomi under
it's
arrest.
also not like an earpiece.
Arrest.
Like it's like
She was
into
sending
the
coded
cartilage of his
messages
ear,
toward the
right?
Alaskan
It
base.
simulates.
I
They
didn't want
of
to
course
believe it,
Kojima
but
explains
she
the
must
exact
be
science
working
behind
with
it,
the
but it
terrorists.
simulates
Are
the
you sure?
bones in your ear or something like that.
Yeah, right.
She's being
That's what I was
interrogated
thinking.
now.
What kind of interrogation?
So I'm like,
Well,
I'm just imagining
I'd like to
because he
avoid
like
the rough
he always
stuff,
holds his
but
two
we don't
fingers
even
up
have
like
any
behind
sodium
his ear,
pentothal here.
like right where the bones is, and I imagine like you
So,
wouldn't
It's true, isn't
talk.
it?
Naomi, I can't believe it.
I feel like you would just think it with the nanomachines.
The
but I
codec,
don't-
the codec is something that's super convenient for the game,
But Snake,
but
you
makes
might be
absolutely no
infected
sense.
too.
Yeah.
I understand
All I
the
can do
science
is leave it up
behind
to the colonel.
hearing people from the codec, but being silent while talking on the codec makes absolutely no sense. If they just said something like the nanomachines read your brain, I mean the nanomachines are literally magic. It reads your stream of consciousness to relay the information.
Can you hear
Like,
me?
but they never
It's Naomi.
explain it like that.
Naomi,